Minnesota Vikings OTAs have officially started this offseason, and I don't even know what OTA stands for. Offseason training A. What's the A? Offseason training what? What does OTA stand for in football? I'm not the only one Googling this because it showed. Organized team activities. Obviously, I knew that. And right before organized team activities started, there was a video that was published by the Minnesota Vikings that have gotten some run in the media and by the fans because it showcased Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, Kevin O'Connell, Brian Flores in the Minnesota Vikings draft room, selecting their players, trading up with the Jets and the Jacksonville Jaguars to get their guy, calling their players to say, hey, you know what, welcome to the Minnesota Vikings. We're so happy to have you. We're excited to get to work with you, and it's truly a great honor for us to be able to draft you and put you in a Minnesota Vikings uniform. Basically, I just summed up the 18-minute video that I watched that was presented by the Minnesota Vikings on YouTube. This take is presented by Hoagland Farm. Contact Jared at 952-491-1541 for rotationally grazed 100% grass-fed beef. This beef is sold in quarters and halves, and they have custom sample packs so you can try before you buy. Get great beef in your freezers today and get 20% off your first order by mentioning the Minnesota Tim podcast when you call Jared at 952-491-1541. That's 952-491-1541. Okay, so what's getting this run is when the Minnesota Vikings met with J.J. McCarthy pre-draft to go over their meeting. And J.J. McCarthy, even in the video, was like, I got to say something to the Minnesota Vikings to get them to draft me. I want them to like me. I want them to love me. I want them to do whatever it takes to get me. And you know what? All quarterbacks are feeling the exact same way. Drake May, every quarterback that was in the NFL draft wanted to get selected by the Minnesota Vikings because of their situation. They have the best wide receiver in football. Their defense is getting better over year by year. Their tight end will eventually come back post-injury. They've got Aaron Jones as their run. It's a very stable organization. If you're a quarterback, you want to go to the Minnesota Vikings, and with a chance to start in week 1. So J.J. McCarthy made his pitch at the end, and this is the thing grabbing headlines. He said, I would run through a brick wall for you, Kevin O'Connell and the Minnesota Vikings. And my favorite part about this whole clip that's getting press and getting runtime and that's popular right now is we don't know what Drake May said. Drake May might have said the exact same thing, but it didn't get published because the Minnesota Vikings didn't draft him. But I'm sure Drake May said something along the similar lines as J.J. McCarthy did. But J.J. McCarthy said it, they drafted him, that's what's going to run, and that's what's going to, fill up the feeds. I actually believe what J.J. McCarthy said. I believe this is his greatest strength that he will offer the Minnesota Vikings in year 1 and in year 15 if he lasts that long. J.J. McCarthy, his maturity is off the charts. It really is. The guy is going to be studying film. He's going to be working on his craft. J.J. McCarthy is all football all the time. And you can just tell by the way he acts, by the way he talks, by the things he does. I mean, he showed up to the rookie minicamp with things memorized from their pre-draft days, and it impressed Kevin O'Connell. He's just a guy that's going to be head and nose into football. But I can't quite get my head over just how corny of a line that was. I'm going to run through a brick wall for you. Like, really? If you were going to say something, can't you say something that's a little less cliche, but yet at the same time, it's what I expect? Because J.J. McCarthy, he would literally run through a brick wall for the Minnesota Vikings organization. I believe that, and I believe he could have been a little bit more creative in what he said in the pre-draft visit, because it's an ultimate cliche to run through a brick wall for you. It's like, oh, I'm going to pour out my heart and soul on the football field. I mean, what else is he supposed to say, I guess? But, you know, the phone calls that they showcase on this YouTube video showed guys saying, oh, I'm going to give you my 100%. I'm going to give you my all. I can't wait to get there. The other one, I think Kyrie Jackson said, the quarterback that they drafted out of Oregon, said something like, other teams made a mistake not picking me earlier. Wait until the third round. I'm going to be the best cornerback in this draft. Players have massive chips on their shoulders. They have massive egos. And I guess what J.J. McCarthy isn't the worst thing in the world, but it's not very surprising because this is who he is. This is what he is going to do. He basically has the Tim Tebow mindset, but hopefully is a quarterback that can throw the ball a little bit more accurately than Tim Tebow. It's J.J. McCarthy season. It's J.J. McCarthy season, baby. And we'll see what happens as mandatory OTAs continue. Early reports is that he's got a cannon of an arm. And that was debated during the pre-draft process, how strong of an arm he has. And one of the beat writers, Alec Lewis, has already reported that J.J. McCarthy has juice in his arm. And I'm sure I'll talk about that later this week. But as for this podcast, those listeners listening to me right now, I would run through a brick wall for you. So please subscribe. I'll do anything and everything in my power to run through a brick wall. So hit that subscribe button right there. Thank you for watching. And thank you for making this podcast a part of your day.